Okay, we're gonna practice with the watercolor before we actually put it on like our final copy. You wanna make sure that you have that rubber cement on here. You should be able to like feel it, okay? But you don't wanna rub too far that you're like either smearing it if it's wet or rubbing it off if it's dry. I've got just a simple tray up here. I just got my brush wet and just put some water in all of them so they're all kind of like ready to use. The best way to blend with the watercolor is to put just a little bit of water down. This technique is called wet on wet. It is going to maybe kind of curl your paper a little bit while it's wet, but you can take a color and then put that on, and it absorbs into the water more than it does into the paper. And so you can see that I have like two colors next to each other. I can go and like blend these just with water, and they're gonna blend a whole lot better than they would have if I would have just put dry or just paint right on top of a dry paper. Okay, so you can see how that would work. Using just a brush that has nothing in it is a good idea, okay, because that kind of helps blend. If you wanted to like transition to another color, or you wanted to, I don't know what other color we would put with this. Remember that if I put something like red, you're gonna get that purple again. If I put something like green, it's next to it, so it's gonna, blend. I don't know what color you really want. But by doing just that wet on wet technique, you're going to get something that's more mixed together, okay? So you can see like how that works. If I were to just use like a color and paint this on here, you can see how different this looks, okay? And this isn't bad. It's just gonna have a different look than what this is. This is real, watery looking, and this one's not. If you see right here where my watercolor, or not my watercolor, my rubber cement is, how it's not absorbing into that section. Let me pull this up. Do you see that it's like the paint is resisting that area? Maybe. My rubber cement is a little wet still, but you can see that it's like not absorbing into that area. Okay, and this is wet on dry because my paper is dry. Okay, and you can see how that works right there. You might have to take something to like get the paint off of this section. You would want to wait until this is like fully dry to rub the rubber cement off. Okay, and believe it or not, it might seem dry because the paint's not moving, but the water hasn't fully evaporated. So you would want to wait before you do anything to this. It'll make it easier, and it will eventually, I don't know if I can even show you. Like that will completely come off, okay? And so you won't have that. If you, if your layer of rubber cement isn't like solid, then you could have some paint that kind of seeps through, okay? So I would kind of think about it, what you want this to look like. You do want to be careful if you do like wet on wet with this. If you like scrub the paper too much, then it can start to like peel. And so if you look right here, like I have paper that's on my brush, and you're like removing that paper from here. Okay, so you have to be careful. If you do on the wet on wet, then if you were to do any more to this later, you would have to let this dry and then do it again, because the paper can only drink up so much water.